and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Nationwide, an abridged version. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a case for Nigerians to see the payment of taxes as a solemn and patriotic obligation, saying that no nation has ever made progress without having to pay for it. Declaring open the first national tax dialogue, the president also insists that foreign businesses must not be allowed to continue exploiting the nation's markets and economy without paying appropriate taxes. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the event was put together by the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
The first national tax dialogue with the theme Taxation in a Post-COVID-19 Economy is a deliberate attempt by the federal government at getting insights and wisdom from a broad spectrum of the society on how best to improve Nigeria's revenue receipts for sustainable growth and development.
There is so much to look forward to in the coming years. The FRS is starting this decade with the resolve to leapfrog tax administration into the digital age. We are banking on your continuous support as we embark on this wondrous journey.
2021 is a year of recovery, a year that we will be recovering from recession, and a year that taxpayers, both businesses and individuals, will be setting back to the path of growth.
We are starting to see a diversification of revenues, tracking the economic diversification objective of the APC government.
The African Development Bank is ready to provide needed technical and institutional support to the Federal Inland Revenue Service and to Nigeria to build up its capacity for tax administration.
In his virtual address to participants, President Muhammadu Buhari made it clear that his administration is not seeking to increase the tax burden on Nigerians, but to plug existing loopholes and ensure equitable application of the tax laws.
This was clearly demonstrated by the provision of the Finance Act 2019, whereby government exempted small companies from tax and reduced the income tax rate for medium companies from 30% to 20%. We went further to cushion the burden of tax on the low wage workers by exempting minimum wage from personal income tax.
The president, however, said with the devastating effect of COVID-19 on the economy, a debt profile of more than 32 trillion naira, as well as a tax to GDP ratio of about 6%, Nigeria has no alternative than to do whatever it takes towards achieving optimal tax revenue generation potential.
It is not enough that our citizens and local businesses pay their fair share of taxes. Equally, foreign businesses must also not be allowed to continue to exploit our markets and economy without paying appropriate taxes. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has my mandate to speedily put all measures in place to fully implement programs to stamp out base erosion and profit shifting in all their ramifications and generally automate its tax processes. It is therefore incumbent to do all that is required in order to efficiently collect tax revenue due from transactions carried out using local and foreign online platforms.
President Buhari directed all government agencies and business enterprises to grant the Federal Inland Revenue Service access to all their systems for seamless connection. The deployment of technology for automation, he however said, must be done in line with international best practices. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
A bill seeking to give legal backing to the harmonization of retirement age for teachers in Nigeria has been approved by the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that Minister of Education Adamu announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting and described the bill as a giant step forward towards enhancing teaching and learning in the country.
For approval so that there is legal backing for the new retirement age of 65 years for teachers. And then the service period being extended to 40 years. The President approved the reintroduction of bursary awards, which I told you here last year, improving teacher quality, funding teaching practice now from TED fund, rural posting allowance, science teacher allowance, and then of course we had the Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, under us that has professionalized the profession.
Now, the Teachers' Bill is expected to go through the National Assembly for legislative consideration before it becomes effective. We now connect with Chief Sylvester Onoja via telephone to provide insights on the implication of these proposed adjustments. Mr. Onoja, the Federal Executive Council yesterday approved a bill to harmonize retirement age for teachers from 60 to 65 years and years of service from 35 years to 40 years. What's your take on this?
Oh, thank you very much for that question. That is the greatest thing that has happened to education in recent times. It shows the commitment of this government to education. What we need in education is quality teachers. If we have quality teachers, we should be able to retain them. In the last few years, the quality of teacher education has been on the decline. And so there's need to retain teachers that can mentor the new ones that are coming in. So the increment in the retirement age for teachers is a welcome development and the greatest thing that has happened to education in the last 5 years.
Now that you've talked about quality and retraining of teachers, 65 years of age in service, do you think teachers will be able to hold on considering the stress and the demand of the job?
There are teachers that are in teaching because they have been called to do so. And there are teachers in the teaching system that have come there because they have nothing to do. Those who are committed to education, those who answer the call to come and serve and to serve people will stay. The reason is this. Teaching requires mentorship. You know, if you come into the teaching profession, you look onto those who are there before you, they learn from you. Now, that is no longer there because people who have no business with education are now in the education system. We need to have people who are committed, who are devoted to education, to serve others and to serve this country well. Retirement age for teachers in many parts of the world, for example, in the United States of America, retirement age is 67 years. In Germany, it's 68. There are countries that teachers retire at 70. Because if you have education, the key to education is continuity. Those who know should teach people who ought to know. We now have a system where those who do not know are teaching those who ought to know. With this extension, the few people, the number of people in the teaching profession that have been properly trained can now mentor others and train others so that excellence can be brought to education.
We already know that the bill also proposes a reintroduction of bursary awards. Will that attract the best brains to the profession?
That is the greatest thing that has happened to education. We need to attract the best brains to education. In other countries that have done so well in education, it is their best that go into education. Not in this country, the worst are the ones who go into education. Those who go into education are those who do not have anything else to do. Now, if we, for example, take JAM, those who score about 300 and above in JAM examination are the quality of people we need to go to teaching. And the only way you can make teaching attractive is to make teaching attractive is to attract the best brain and give them best conditions. That is what this government has done. If you recruit the best teachers, the best entrance into the university, they take to education, they go on bursary, and when they live there, they earn the highest salary that is paid to everybody. I mean, for those who work in the oil companies, those who work in the central bank, those who work in customs, if teachers can earn that salary, the best brains owe it as a duty that only the best is good for this country. And the way we can get the best is to make sure that the best brains teach the best students that we have. In Nigeria, education as of now has no legitimacy. What do I mean by legitimacy? Legitimacy is that the right people are teaching and the right people are learning. Because teachers are not encouraged, the right people are not teaching and the right people are not learning. With this bill, the right people will teach and the right people will learn, and will have the right results that will develop this country.
Chief Onoja, I would like to thank you for your time on Nationwide today. Obviously, better days ahead for teachers in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Moving on the news, United Nations has welcomed the new U.S. administration's announcement to re-enter the Paris Agreement on climate change. Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this shortly after the inauguration of Joe Biden as President of the United States of America. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
And soon after he was sworn in as the 46th President of the United States, President Joe Biden signed some executive orders which include returning the U.S. to the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change. Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in a tweet, issued a statement of welcome in which he noted that President Biden's commitment has made it possible for 2/3 of global carbon pollution to be committed to carbon neutrality. Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program, Ingrid Anderson, also expressed her warm welcome on Twitter for the U.S. re-entry into the agreement and is looking forward to working closely with the new administration to strengthen climate action. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, in November 4th, 2020, pulled his country out of the global pact. The agreement is aimed at tackling climate change by cutting greenhouse gas emissions and sets a global target for limiting the rise in average global temperatures not higher than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And now we move on to Lagos, the nation's commercial hub, for more news with Awal as our guide. Hello, Awal.
Hello, Ayo. Good to see you. The signing of the executive order by U.S. President Joe Biden committing the U.S. to the Paris Agreement on climate change has been applauded by environmentalists. They say the move puts the U.S. back on its leadership role in the global effort to check the catastrophic effect of climate change. Environmental correspondent Jennifer Igwe is on standby to tell us more.
Now, the new U.S. President, Joe Biden, has hit the ground running with his green agenda with the signing of an executive order that puts the U.S. back in the Paris Agreement. Now, that historic agreement took years to achieve, and it involves the U.S. and about 200 other nations that have come together to ensure that greenhouse gas emission is reduced to at least 2 degrees centigrade above in pre-industrial levels. Some are even pushing for 1.5 degrees. So U.S. pulling out from that agreement was a major blow that affected the whole process.
That threw in some confusion into the whole system because the withdrawal indicated, therefore, that the other countries, the other developed countries like China, India, Russia, part of Canada, that are responsible for about 50% of greenhouse gas emissions in the world, now will become a little bit relaxed. That if America is not party to it, then they could only do the best they think they should do, not as committed as before. So that was the general fear.
Environmentalists in Nigeria and the world over are happy at the development because of the crucial role the U.S. has to play in the global fight against climate change and the international climate change negotiations.
America is an industrial country, an industrial leader and political leader, a heavy polluter. Going ahead with the Paris Agreement without the United States of America wouldn't have made much sense. The political will required to drive home this process is better led by countries like the United States of America. And here we are.
Now, in 2017, the past U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. will be leaving the Paris Agreement. Late last year, they did. So many are now optimistic that with the U.S. coming back on board and taking leadership, more efforts to check the impact of climate change, especially how it affects poorer nations, will be intensified. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
And now to infrastructural development. While the inauguration of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line is gradually drawing closer, there is a boost in passengers' traffic, with most of them already visualizing the array of opportunities along various sectors that the rail service will actualize. Michael Olale reports.
The finish line is near, and the contractor handling the Lagos-Ibadan rail line is not relaxing. From laying of concrete, fixing of pavement and instructional signs, the train corridor in Ebute Metta is a construction site. And even with these magnificent buildings standing tall, the commitment to deliver is unwavering.
The train station itself, most people say it, I think it's one of the biggest you have around. It has a capacity for 6,000 people at a time. There are other facilities attached to the station. We intend to have a park and ride. There's supposed to be a hotel around the station premises. Don't also forget, around the station premises, we also have the central control for the Nigerian Railway Corporation's standard gauge operation. So in that central control, you should be able to see all activities, whether it's in Abuja, Agbo, or Lagos.
The situation on the track can best be described as a scenario where hard work speaks louder than voice, and the only sound audible is that of the diesel multiple unit, as passengers' patronage leaps from 50 to 75% with total capacity of 8 coaches. It is a win-win situation for most passengers who are not just excited, but counting the gains.
Meaningful development already starting with real estate businesses, telecom businesses bringing mass. You see outdoor advertising, everything coming around the corridor because of new life is being open to Lagosian and reducing the gap between Lagos and Ibadan.
This is the first time Tijani Ibrahim and his wife will board the train from Ibadan, and their definition of comfort differs. It is a concept built around environmental and emotional wellness, which to them, the train service perfectly delivers.
You get tired, you get exhausted, you are worrying about a lot about things, but if you now consider that, you can use the train, there are a lot of things. One, you can actually work while on board the train. Then another thing is that it gets cars off the road. It will get cars off the road. So when cars are off the road, we would have less pollution.
I can get to Lagos with all my produce without getting spoiled. That what happens on the road, the trailer is actually, or the truck is not working well and all of. But the train doesn't happen. 2 hours, I'm actually in Yaba. I'm in Ebute Metta. I want to supply my goods. So meaning that the farmers are also guaranteed their income.
As the project nears inauguration, the next line of action by the Nigerian Railway Corporation is to boost easy accessibility to its services. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. Time now for a break. Don't go away.
Hello, I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher no mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Go na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi, we no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, shall sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that's why I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
Focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
You're welcome back. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has flagged off the distribution of relief materials to 400 IDPs in Yobe State affected by the onslaught of Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast. The Federal Commissioner of the Commission, Senator Bashir Garba Mohammed, says the items were meant to elevate the sufferings of the targeted beneficiaries. Yunusa Suleiman has details.
It is the maiden distribution exercise in the year 2021, but among numerous livelihood supports to IDPs in Yobe State by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. The distribution of the relief materials targeting 400 IDPs by the Commission was necessitated following the recent influx of more persons of concern into Damaturu from the neighboring Borno State, with beneficiaries describing the gesture as timely.
Thank you. Yeah, this food, I really appreciate it because it will take care of us at home.
The Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons represented says the exercise is in fulfillment of the Commission's mandate in providing care, assistance and durable solutions to persons of concern.
The Commission, with the support of the Central Bank of Nigeria, has commenced another program to substantially address the issue of durable solution for displaced persons, known as Project Reliance.
Our only call is for them to sustain the support and also to expand the housing construction for IDPs.
The Commission, since inception, has been partnering with Yobe State government in response to the flights of IDPs as well as other vulnerable groups in the state. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Maiduguri is our next port on Nationwide, with Abubakar telling us more about university resumption. Over to you, Abubakar.
Good afternoon, Ayodeji, and thanks for joining us. Borno State government, in its quest to eradicate youth restiveness, is making sustained efforts by engaging the youths in programs and policies of government. It is in line with measures to ensure economic recovery as normalcy returns to many communities in Borno. Yagum Subukar takes a look at the situation.
This is one among the several projects of Borno State government where youths are actively engaged in its execution, a development that will no doubt assist in eradicating youth restiveness and other forms of social vices among youths in Borno State.
It's been assisted me to a lot of things, like now I'm planning to get married through this work.
Professor Babagana Zulum. So we thank him and we thank God for advice us, and he give us strength and courage.
These were some of the testimonies from youth in Borno State who are beneficiaries of government's project as part of the post-insurgency economic recovery and youth empowerment. Research has proven that over 60% of the nation's population are youth. Employment generation is one of the cardinal objectives of the Zulum-led administration. This is why youths are being incorporated in the scheme for provision of jobs. This development, according to the youths, is a milestone in the administration of Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, as it has created windows for self-sufficiency, especially for the active age group affected by the long years of insurgency. Borno State government spends 75 million naira monthly for disbursement to youths.
Last year alone, the state government spent nearly 900 million through this ministry. UNDP came in and said it was a very good program. They took over for only 3 months.
According to the commissioner, plans are underway for selection of 100 youths in each of the 27 local government areas to be engaged in the WASH program of government in addition to other activities. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Tertiary institutions in Borno State have reopened for resumption of academic activities after 10 months of closure as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The University of Maiduguri resumed with stringent measures in place for the observance of non-pharmaceutical COVID-19 prevention measures. Rebecca Baturi completes the story.
After nearly 10 months of lockdown and Academic Union of Universities strike, Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions are continuing academic activities for the 2019-2020 session. Some students of University of Maiduguri have resumed in compliance with the January 18 resumption, preparing for balance of examination, which was left behind since March last year when COVID-19 made landfall, leading to lockdown.
Most of our students yet to arrive in other states, but we are hoping within this week most of them will come, and we are eager to write our exams.
Once I heard the rumors that school will resume, so we started making inquiries by preparing to face our exams.
The university community has stepped up and sustaining the production of antibacterial hand washing soap, hand sanitizers and face masks for use by members of the academic and neighboring communities.
We fumigated the hostels. We are now fumigating offices and classes. So this one is ongoing. After offices and classes, then it will go back to the residential quarters.
We've been using the lab for teaching and production of other products. But when the pandemic was widespread, we started producing the sanitizer gel, sanitizer spray, hand washing soap, and some bar soap to combat the disease.
Some of the non-pharmaceutical measures include hand washing stations at strategic directions, compulsory use of face masks, and social distancing. In Maiduguri, Rebecca Baturi, NTA News.
You're on to Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's now join Agatha in our Benin Network Center for more stories there. Hello, Agatha.
Joining us in Benin and still on COVID-19 to check the spread of the virus. Edo State Public Works volunteers have commenced a campaign to sensitize the public and enforce COVID-19 safety protocols in public places. Judah Bugu monitored commencement of the exercise and reports that the volunteers were briefed by the state coordinator on modalities and scope of the enforcement before takeoff.
The exercise, which focuses mainly on ensuring that members of the public wear their face masks properly and regularly, kicked off at Ring Road and Urban Market area, with the volunteers educating motorists, passengers, traders and pedestrians on the need to protect themselves and others from the deadly virus through the use of face masks.
From today, so we all day. As a driver, not allow any passenger enter your motor if you don't wear face mask.
Earlier, while briefing the volunteers on the method to be employed in ensuring compliance with the safety protocols, the state coordinator warned that any of them who violates the safety protocols will equally be punished. He charged them to shun extortion, intimidation, and violation of human rights.
Sensitization is never too much. As you know that our people at times could be very nonchalant when it comes, obeying simple directives to save their own lives.
The volunteers are expected to bring violators of the safety protocols before the Edo State COVID-19 mobile court and forward video or picture evidence of their enforcement to the state coordinator on daily basis. The exercise will be reviewed every 10 days. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
To security now. In the wake of rampant kidnapping and armed robbery attacks in Benin and environs, Edo State government, in collaboration with security agencies, is working out a formidable security architecture for adequate protection of lives and property of citizens. This was the center of discussion when the state governor, Godwin Obaseki, was interacting with the new commissioner of police recently posted to the state. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
Decrying the seemingly slow progress recorded by the state command in the resolution of high-profile crimes committed in recent times, particularly the jailbreak, which occurred when the NSAS protest was hijacked, and the recent situation where inmates allegedly walked out of the police command's headquarters. Governor Obaseki says it will no longer be business as usual.
Primary responsibilities to Edo State and the people of Edo State. And to the extent that you acknowledge that and you're prepared to work with us locally, we will continue to give the full support that we need to. We don't want to see the police as the federal police. We want to see it as the people's police. Police that is supposed to defend and serve the people of Edo State.
The new CP is promising to work with other sister agencies to rid the state of criminal elements. The new police boss takes over from CP Babatunde Johnson Kokumo. In Benin, Elizabeth Amako, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues in Kaduna with Salamatu. But right after this break, stay.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
Do you know that 35% of every girl child and women are raped on a daily basis? Some are killed in the process, some take their lives in shame, others remain emotionally dead for life. It is sad. This culture is not ours, definitely not African. How did we allow bad culture to infiltrate and take over? Even if you lack fear for the law, what of fear of God? And you, why do you cover up rape acts when it happens? Remember, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Never cover any rape act because a rapist is a murderer. It could be you or your loved ones next. Women must be treated like the prize gem they are. Say no to rape.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thanks for being there and welcome to Kaduna. Federal government says it will remain focused on rural roads development to promote food security and economic well-being of farming communities in Nigeria. Adamu Sunday report that Minister of Agriculture, Sabo Nanonu, stated this at the inauguration of feeder roads linking markets in Makarfi local government area of Kaduna State. The report.
It is 4 kilometers distance between a number of whose main preoccupation is agriculture and Makarfi, which has the largest produce market in the area. Sanusi Ibrahim, while appreciating the federal government, is aware the road will facilitate movement and improve economic fortunes of the communities.
The construction of the road is good. We can now transport our farm produce to the market with ease.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Sabo Nanono, said the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is poised to turn around agricultural sector to make it the lifewire of economic development. He said, construction of feeder roads across the nation is to open up hinterlands and avoid wastage of farm produce.
I'm extremely happy with what I have seen in Mary and in Makarfi, as well as our water treatment plant here. And all the roads, I think they are well constructed and they are connected to the places we want them to be. Connecting agricultural areas with markets and also farm to farm. It's an excellent job done by the contractors.
While inspecting Kaurawali irrigation site, the minister said federal government is exploring the potential of the area in order to sustain all year-round food production in the area. Mohammed Sabo Nanono noted with satisfaction work on ongoing water treatment plant in the area and called on the benefiting communities to guard the facilities and ensure optimal utilization. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
And away from that, Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State has called on working journalists and social media users in the state to continue to play a vital role in promoting peace and tranquility in the society. The governor made the plea while declaring open a one-day seminar on security awareness for media practitioners in the state. Awal Haliru completes the story.
The one-day seminar organized by the Office of Special Advisor on Security Matters drew participants from the conventional media, local government information departments, and the users of social media platforms in Katsina State. The objective was to create awareness on the need for media and users of the social media platforms to work in synergy with the state government towards enhancing security in the state through their profession. Governor Aminu Bello Masari believed that media should be a veritable tool to achieving sustainable economic growth and security.
Whatever you do, you can only do it if there is peace. You can't go to mosque if there is no peace.
Special Advisor on Security Ibrahim Ahmed Katsina restated the need for the media to put patriotism first in the discharge of its responsibilities. The chairman, Katsina State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Tukur Hassan Dan Ali, indicated readiness of the union to partner with the state government to reflect positive changes in reports of ongoing security challenges. Various papers were presented by resource persons on the challenges and the way forward. Awal Halleru, NTA News.
That is it from Kaduna. He's back to Ayo Deji in Abuja.
Thank you. And that's Nationwide this Thursday. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. Good evening.